everyone, and welcome to my very first video. My name is Catherine, and this channel is going to be all about finding who you really are, which is what today's video is all about, and what it really means to know who you are. And the reason that I wanted to create this channel is to hopefully help people relight their connection to self and what that really means. Because I was sat in the corner of my room the other day and I was just looking out the window, and I'm sure that many people have thought this before, and especially during this unprecedented time, that we're all just kind of in our minds a little bit thinking about a lot of things. And the thought came to my head of, who are you? Or who am I? And if you'd asked me that maybe like 3 months ago, I would have been startled. I think I would have been a bit weird about it. I'd have been like, I don't really know who I am. And it would have frightened me a little bit maybe, but as I was sat down there the other day, I was just like, I don't really know, and I don't really care to know at the moment. And I think that that is the best solution to answering the question of who are you, because I feel like we have a tendency to sort of try and box ourselves in and conceptualize ourselves with all these labels and different beliefs of who we are, and saying, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and I have this trait and I have that trait, and this is me or that's not me. But in reality, we are changing every single moment. Like, we are shifting all the time. I don't even know if I'm the same person I was literally 5 seconds ago. And you know, that might sound really weird, but I'm not that person because I'm here right now, and we're always changing. And one day maybe you might wake up and you might be feeling very warm and generous, and the next day you might wake up and you just feel very withdrawn and you don't really want to talk to people. And I think that the issue comes from trying to create this self-image we have of ourselves and boxing ourselves in because we want to remain consistent to whatever we've said we are, and we want to live up to this kind of word that we've given ourselves, this identity. But really, we're changing moment to moment, and we are always spontaneously just being who we are in the moment. So what I feel like is best to do to answer that question is just really, instead of trying to conceptualize who you are with all of these beliefs and labels and things, just come back to being in the moment and not needing any of those things to define you or who you are. Because I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves to like identify ourselves and really define who we are. But in reality, you know, we're changing all the time. I don't have to be the same person that I was, 5 seconds ago. I don't have to be the same person that I was a year ago, etc., etc. But it just limits us to identify ourselves like that. And being who you really are isn't an intellectual concept, it's lived in reality. So when you're being who you are, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to sort of try and be a certain way. You just are that way, and it naturally and spontaneously occurs moment to moment, whatever that might be. So I feel like if you were to say, like, who are you? What would really draw out the best self in you and your most authentic self isn't a label or an idea or an identity. It's really just doing things that you really enjoy, doing things that bring you fulfillment and make you happy, and naturally within that moment of you doing that, of you being that, it will bring out the best in you. It'll bring out the best expression of you. Like, it could be something as simple as like hanging out with your friends, or just, I don't know, doing things that you really like dancing, I don't know, whatever you enjoy. And naturally from that, you will start to enjoy it, and that will be your best expression of yourself, because you're just being and you're not thinking about it. You literally are just really comfortable being that way. So I feel like we try and live up to sort of these ideas and ideals of who we might be, and sticking with I'm this and I'm that. But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Like, what is a linguistic concept compared to just being in reality and kind of just living in the moment naturally as you would day to day. And I feel like we take things so seriously. There is no pressure to be anyone, to become anything. You just have to just chill out in the moment, because when you're putting pressure on yourself to be a certain way and you think that that is you, that's not really you, because the more you place a need on being something, let's say for example you place a need to be nice and please everyone all the time, that's not inherently you, because it becomes like a thought that you have, that you need to be a certain way, and it's not congruent with your actual being. And you might naturally want to be nice, and that might be naturally part of who you are, but when it becomes this sort of need to fulfill an idea, it's no longer you. So yeah, I feel that sorry, just looking at my little notes on the floor. Yeah, it brings out the best in you to just naturally be comfortable with whatever arises in the moment, and you not trying to adhere to being something, because all we can do is just be in the moment who we are without judging that. So let's say someone has a natural disposition towards being honest, and they really enjoy just being very upfront about the way that they communicate with people, and someone else, as I said earlier, just really enjoys being very nice and friendly and bubbly. And whatever you so naturally feel inclined towards, that is you, and it doesn't really need to be conceptualized as an idea. That is just you in your highest expression. Just you know, when you're just hanging around with your friends and you can just say whatever comes to mind, and you don't need to think about being a certain way, and you're not living in your head, you're just living in the moment with them and communicating with them in a way that it's just fluid, and it's whatever comes to mind, whatever you fancy doing at that time, that is you. And so I encourage you to just sort of do things that you naturally enjoy, and from that spontaneous moment to moment enjoyment will arise the best version of you. And what else do I have to say? I might edit this out, I'm not sure, but I'm just reading my notes. Yeah, we are very contradictory beings, you know. Sometimes we might be one way, sometimes we might be another way. And the reason that I was kind of inspired to create this video, other than sitting in my chair doing nothing and weird thoughts coming to my brain, is I was very reluctant to create this channel because I kind of said to myself, oh, I'm a very private person. And I kind of had this idea of myself as being a private person, but at the same time I can be very open, so what am I? And I was kind of stuck on, like, should I sort of start sharing stuff online or should I not, because I'm open and private? But why do these labels and concepts matter? All that matters really is just what I feel like doing in the moment and what makes me happy. So, you know, I could be both those things. You could, if you think of any two traits that you think conflict each other, they're probably inside of you, and you know, that's okay to have both of these things. We don't have to maintain and conform to this consistent idea and image that we have of ourselves. You know, you can be whatever you want. If today you feel like being private, for example, and tomorrow you don't and you feel a bit more open, then that's fine. Clearly today I'm feeling more open, which is why I decided to make this video. But yeah, I think that, you know, it's important not to kind of say I should be this or I need to be this certain way, even if it's on a very subtle level. Just kind of relax in your body. That helps a lot, to just really bring yourself back to the moment. And if the more your body is relaxed, the more authentic you will be, because you're not in your mind. You don't have your face scrunched up and you're not thinking about things and who you are. You're just kind of chilling in the moment, which is the most ideal self, the most ideal rendition of yourself. So if I ask you the question again of who are you, it's okay not to know, because I don't know either. I don't know who I am. And it doesn't really matter. No one's really pressuring you. There's not a person cast over your shoulder saying, who are you? It's just your brain trying to identify itself and trying to fit into a mold, if you will. But yeah, I just thought I'd make a video about this because in quarantine times, clearly a lot of people are going to be thinking about these sort of questions and thinking about their life. I know that I have. I've been sat in this, I've got a little chair here. I've been sat in that chair just staring out the window and many random thoughts coming to my head. And I sit and I put this heater on. I've told so many of my friends about this. I put the heater on. Oh, it's not switched on. And I listen to this sound of the heater. And I just let it run, and then I sit in my chair and let it warm my feet, and I just sit out and look out the window. And disclaimer, I've been quarantining alone now for like 7 weeks. So if anyone's wondering how I am leveraging my time, that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of sitting, looking out the window and asking myself, who am I? But it doesn't really matter, so I don't have an answer. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was helpful to you in some way. I'm really excited to start sharing more on this channel. We're going to be talking just all things about finding inner freedom, connecting to who you really are, even if we don't have the answers to that, because who you are naturally is just not in your head. You're kind of just being in the moment, and you're just finding joy in the moment, and that is as easy as it needs to be. You can just exist happily in the moment, and that will be who you are. There's no need to like define that or anything. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to do a video, I think, on how to enjoy your own company, because I feel like I'm mastering that somewhat, and I haven't gone insane, so that's a good sign. And yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and sharing your time and energy with me, and I hope you have a very lovely day, and I hope that you don't get too existential asking yourself, who am I now? And if you haven't thought about it, there's no need to think about it. It's all fine.